Alright guys, so back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my M4 Air. I've had this for about a year and a bit, and I've used this every single day throughout my whole university journey over the last year. And I've also been using this for coding all my side projects you guys have seen. So I think I can give a pretty decent review on how it's held up over the last year in terms of both battery life and performance. So if you're looking for a laptop for programming or building your own apps, or you're just about to get into uni and you're thinking of studying something like computer science or computer engineering, this video is definitely for you. I'm going to talk exactly about my experience as a kind of computer engineering / CS student, and yeah, let's get straight into it. And just to prove my point, we're going to be running live benchmarks of the M4 Macbook Air against the M3 Pro I have over here to really see if there's actually much difference between getting an Air laptop and a Pro laptop. Okay, so firstly, let's go through the exact specs I have over here. Whenever I get a laptop, I always go with the bigger 15-inch version, just because I know down the line there will always be times where I won't have an external monitor on me. And if I'm on campus and I just want to get quick work done, or if I want to really quickly study at a coffee shop, I'm going to really need that extra screen space, especially for coding with multiple windows. And yes, I know people say it's much heavier, but honestly, I don't really care that much about the weight because it's only 20% heavier than the base 13-inch version. So honestly, don't really worry too much about the weight. Also, don't think because the MacBook is bigger and has a bigger screen that the battery life might be drained quicker. It has a bigger battery for the bigger models like this 15-inch, so you have the exact same battery life as getting the 13-inch version. I also went with 15 gigs of RAM and 12 gigabytes of SSD. The 16 gigabytes of RAM is pretty much essential for any laptop in 2026. So in case you're thinking of getting this exact same M4 Air, probably getting it used or refurbished, just make sure you're getting 16 gigs of RAM at least. I picked 512 SSD only because I don't have a lot of videos on my laptop. Honestly, you'll be fine with 256 gigabytes of SSD, but if you really want to just future-proof it and stay on the safer side, I would definitely recommend getting 512 gigabytes like me. And some of you might not know this, but SSD really does matter. Not everything is just about the RAM, because in MacBook, there's something called swap memory, and when your RAM gets filled, essentially it uses the SSD as replacement for your tasks and tabs you have open. So if you fill up your memory and you have no more free SSD space, your whole MacBook is just going to crash. So you really do have to make sure that you have enough SSD just in case the operating system needs the extra space. So for the specs inside my M4 chip, I went with 10 cores of CPU and 10 GPU cores. You really don't need more than that for an Air. I don't even know if you can upgrade it to 18 cores of GPU for an Air because it's just overkill. And the M4 chip also comes with 120 gigabytes of memory bandwidth, so that's really good. And finally, as you can see, the color I picked is probably sky blue. I think that's what it's called. It changes color to silver under intense light, I think, and then it kind of changes to sky blue when it's kind of like in dark places. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so let's talk about portability. Basically, the main benefit you get when you choose a MacBook Air over getting a normal Pro. I mean, half the time I pretty much use my laptop sitting straight on my desk, plugged into the monitor I have over here. And it's pretty easy to just unplug my display cable and my audio interface cable and just pick it up, take it out anywhere I want. It's pretty light, it only weighs 1.5 kg. And honestly, weight only really matters if you already carry a lot of stuff in your bag. I mean, like first year of uni, I used to carry so many books because I used to write notes handwritten on paper. But yeah, now I have an iPad, so pretty much all I really need to take to campus is just my MacBook and my iPad. And if you just have those two devices, then you shouldn't have a problem with getting the bigger 15-inch version. The MacBook Air can support 2 external monitors. So if you didn't have this massive ultra-wide monitor I have over here, you can still have 2 dual monitors and still be able to use the laptop too, giving you like 3 screens in total. For me personally, I use an ultra-wide monitor, so I have 3 windows for coding on here. But yeah, anyways, for students, 2 external monitors is pretty much just overkill. One of the only few annoying things I've encountered is that the Air only has ports on one side, which is really annoying because a lot of university projects require me to program an Arduino microcontroller, and there just won't be enough ports left. So I'd have to bring this adapter everywhere I go, which is kind of annoying because it's not really hard to put in extra ports on the other side. But yeah, if you do end up forgetting this, like you have a lab at uni, it will be quite annoying because you'll probably have to go all the way back home to get it. So if you're buying the Air for the first time, you might be wondering, why does it have no fans and what does the heating situation look like with this device? And I'm not even joking when I say this. I've used this laptop over numerous kinds of workloads, like running AI locally, like compiling massive code bases, and honestly I've never actually had it overheat at all. in my kind of lifetime with it. There are things I haven't actually tried, like editing massive 4K videos on this laptop. I know it will break it. I know it will just melt the entire laptop, so I'm not even trying it. But yeah, if you want to use it for normal uni stuff, like the most demanding thing you can do is running local AI. And if it holds up and it doesn't overheat, and I think that's a pretty good sign that this is quite a capable device. But yeah, for the case where you might actually manage to get this to overheat, it does have thermal throttling, I think. So if you do get the CPU and GPU cores to maximum performance, it will just turn off some of those cores and try and reduce the overheating of the device. So you shouldn't worry too much about it. It might just get really slow if it's too hot. Okay, so I know most of you actually came to this video to figure out the performance of the M4 Air against other Pro models and other laptops. So the best way we're going to figure this out is by doing some benchmarks, and we're going to look at the single core performance and the multi-core performance on Geekbench against this M3 Pro I have over here. And then after that, we're going to be doing a live test to actually see how good the memory bandwidth is on an Air. So let's actually see if this £800 laptop actually kind of compares against a £2,000 MacBook Pro. So on Geekbench, we can see that for single core performance, the M3 Pro chip has a score of 3,105, while the M4 Air chip has a single core performance of 3,708. So for stuff like how quickly tabs open, just like the whole responsiveness of the system, the M4 Air totally destroys the M3 Pro. For multi-core performance, the M3 Pro has a score of 15,255, while the M4 Air has a score of 14,724. So that's just a 3.6% slower speed than the M3 Pro. So the M4 Air is pretty much doing quite good in terms of single core and multi-core. So now finally, let's actually look at the memory bandwidth test I'm going to run. I'm going to run 2 local AI models on both of them. So I've installed Llama on both of these devices, and we're going to be using Llama 3. I think it should be the 8GB version. And I'm just going to be asking Llama 3 to create a Python script for a snake game, and I'm just going to time the outputs to see which one actually responds faster. Stuff like this actually requires a CPU to get a lot of data from memory, and that really shows the memory bandwidth bottleneck. So we're going to actually see the performance difference between these two laptops. And so here are the results. The eval rate is 44.19 tokens per second here, and when we go to the M3 Pro, it's 58.41 tokens per second. So this clearly does more tokens per second, so the M3 Pro is actually faster in this case. And yeah, the reason why we're using tokens per second is because LLMs have deterministic amount of tokens they generate, so you have to actually measure the amount of tokens they finish per second. And the reason why memory bandwidth is so important these days is because a lot of workloads like video editing, playing games, and just running local AI does require quite a lot of memory bandwidth. So it is important for some of these special kind of case workloads, but if you're just like a student or you just kind of want to code projects, you shouldn't really have to worry about this too much. So for the students watching this, you're definitely going to care about the battery life of this device. Typically you'll be on campus the whole day and you'll need it for lectures, and when you do go to the lecture halls, you won't be able to charge it, so you do actually have to make sure that you pick a laptop that has good battery life. According to Apple, the laptop lasts up to 15+ hours when it comes to just watching videos and just normal web browsing. But for me, I've actually never had this laptop completely die. The battery is always, probably minimum I've seen it at is like 20%, but this is probably because whenever I go to campus, I usually use the computers there, and that always charges this up to the max. Definitely don't do the same mistake I do. Don't charge this to the max, because that really kind of lowers your battery capacity faster over time. And I think if your battery health drops to 80%, you have to change the whole battery, so don't do that. If you want to prevent it from charging all the way to 100, all you have to do is just go to settings, type battery, and then click the charging icon, and then set it to 85 or 90%. Finally, I want to give some tips for the people that are thinking of buying used laptops, and I also want to kind of give my opinion on if you should buy a used versus a new laptop. So if you're looking at buying a used one on eBay, you can save around £200 to £400 by just buying the M4 over the M5. You pretty much get the exact same specs. The only thing that's changing is that you don't have the latest M5 chip, which is like only 10% faster in single core performance. So definitely that's what I'm going to be doing in the future. When I'm buying a new Air, I'm just going to be buying the last generation or the last 2 generations, just because it's better value for money. Just make sure if you're buying it used, you actually check how much battery cycles the laptop has, because that kind of indicates how much it's being used, and you kind of typically want it to be around 50 to 150. You don't want it to be like a crazy amount of numbers. For the MacBook Pros, if you're not buying used, I just don't know what you're doing. I literally bought the M3 Pro MacBook Pro for around £1,200, and it literally costs, I think, about £2,000. So I got like a crazy deal. So just make sure to always do your due diligence. So yeah, these are my thoughts for the M4 MacBook Air in 2026. If you liked the video, you gained any value, definitely drop a like and subscribe. And if you want to see more content like this, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. And yeah, peace.